So my name is Cody Coltharp, and along with my colleagues Brad Lewis and James Collins, we're going to show you how we as federal institutions use methods to teach social and emotional learning by teaching empathy and community involvement. So I teach game design at the ARTLAB, which is located in the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden. Due to its underground location, that's it down there, and its secret passageway, and it being a generally awesome place, the teens frequently refer to it as the Bat Cave, which would make me Batman. So the ARTLAB is a free digital drop-in studio space where teens can come and learn art and technology. We teach different things each night. We're open Monday through Friday from 3 to 7, and we base our workshops on teen interests. Things like music, photography, film, video, and of course, video games. So I teach the basics of 2D and 3D games in Unity. We use Unity. And I think it's fundamentally important to teach not only how to make games, but the why in making games. So I do this a lot of different ways. This was one of our sessions that we had called Game and Talk, in which I got a group of students to play games together and then come together and talk about it. So I tried to foster an environment of conversation. I used chocolate to bribe them with good, well-thought-out responses. And if they gave me responses like, it's good, it sucks, it's sweet, then I would pepper them with questions like a bored 3-year-old. Why is it good? What makes the graphics awesome? So I sourced a lot of my questions from critical thinking, thinking critically about film or thinking critically about books, and surprise, surprise, those questions transfer almost directly to video games. So I made a bunch of different topics. I'm going to share 2 or 3 of them with you today. First, art in video games. Oh, sorry, this one's video games and learning. I would ask questions like, what are some ways that you could use mechanics in games to teach difficult subjects in school? Art in video games. What is art? ¿Qué es veritas? I would wear a beret, talking an English accent. This was a really fun one. Gender in games. I think kind of very relevant right now, especially. First, I would have them list 5 games with a female main character, and then I would have them take away any of those that the character was sexy, too much of a sex object. And so the guys, would start arguing, and it was great because we had girls, and they would be like, whoa, 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 she is in a bikini made out of armor. I think we're going to have to remove this one. So this was really, really amazing conversations between the guys and the girls. We have a lot of it on transcript. I wish I could show videos. But another really, really good one was race in video games. I think it's no surprise most minority characters in video games are walking, talking stereotypes. And most of my students come from underprivileged inner city neighborhoods and don't connect at all whatsoever with those characters. They connect with anime. They consider themselves like ninjas or samurai. Kitsuragi has water jutsu style, and that's what I like. I go through life flowing. So the teens didn't want it to end and started designing their own game and talk. So they would come up with their own questions, and they would lead these questions, which I thought was really, really fantastic. And they started to develop kind of a reputation as being articulate students that were able to say what made good games fun and what made them good. And so they started getting a lot of opportunities to playtest games. So this is them playtesting the National Museum of American History's new app, Ripped Apart. And they took some of their responses that they were using in the playtests and actually integrated that into the final release and invited the teens to the launch party, which was great. Here's the teens at the White House Game Jam. And they were testing some of the Makers games there. Some of you might have been there. All right, so that's all for me. just a closing remark, teaching players to game critically will provide them with a lens to not only view games, but also the world. So next up is my colleague Brad Lewis, and I give the mic to him.
Great, thank you very much. And a pleasure to be here following you. You've heard a good deal about social emotional learning. Thank you very much. So we'll skip some of those slides and move into some other pieces.
Watch out for the kittens, Brad.
Okay, these kittens are too cute. So I'm with the Corporation for National and Community Service. Yes, we bring you AmeriCorps, among other national service programs that get about 5 million Americans involved in service in their communities every year. But before I tell you more about that story, let me tell you a little bit about this story. Hannah Chappell had always been a bright student, but her mother noted that she, like many middle and high school students, never really found her wings, right? And in terms of academic success and engagement, that's something we want. But that started to change when she learned about a game called Interrobang. It's an online game that challenges young people to complete missions by getting out into the community and solve real-world issues. Yes, walk away from the screen, believe it or not. Heresy, I know. So as Hannah became more involved in the game, which is a product of a partnership between Microsoft, U.S. Partners in Learning, and the Corporation for National and Community Service, along with a couple of others, one of whom was the Smithsonian, we put together this game, and the important thing here is that Hannah started to change in her level of engagement. You know, I was a little skeptical last year when she told me she was playing a game for school on the computer called Interrobang, said her mother, Holly. However, the drive or the little spark that I saw in her was undeniable. I am so thrilled and excited for her. That little spark is now a fire. There's something really simple and comforting and basic about this game. Students are able to reach new heights and personally challenge themselves. How cool is that? Wouldn't we all love to hear that about our games, right? So I'm going to show you some of the missions as I talk about other aspects of the game, just so you get a little bit more of a sense of what the game looked like for students. So I got to let you know that Interrobang found a very loyal following over the next 2 years. We had upwards of 65,000 visits with nearly 30,000 unique visitors, garnering interest and accolades from the White House, and capturing a prestigious finalist position here at Games for Change that year. There we go. Yes, and also we're showing some of the badges that happened in, and yes, we do need badges in the game. Sorry, reference, yes. So back to Hannah. Remember Hannah? Yeah. Hannah was, her perhaps most impressive achievement was around the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. Well, she took on that mission and kind of made it her own. And so she said, you know, it's not enough to find out what my dream is. We have a dream for our school, for what we would like to see and what we would like to leave behind us here at our school. And her event had such impact on the community, on the school community, that they decided, the administrators decided, that they would make this an annual event and have it continue to succeed year after year. And in more personal metrics, Hannah used this game as one of her stepping stones to college acceptance and won a $2,500 scholarship along the way. Not bad, right? So Hannah's story is just one of thousands to come out of the development of Interrobang. This innovative and interactive game provides students with an opportunity to engage their communities, schools, families, and peers in creative, moving, and challenging ways. There were a number of other missions, and I could tell you a lot more about them, and I'm happy to do so afterwards, but there are a few takeaways. The costs of running a game are significant. Oh, I don't know, I need to tell you guys that one, right? But it may hurt scalability. Hands-on moderation, very important. Students less motivated by prizes than we all thought they might be, Xboxes, right? Let me finish my mission here. Partnerships were key on the professional level, on the institutional level. Due to security concerns, we would certainly use data encryption if we did a similar game again, and leveraging existing national events, such as having a game for students to play who are volunteering as part of the NFL Thanksgiving Day game, believe it or not, and it was great. Went kind of viral. So here's some contact information for me. There will be another slide with more information about how to get in touch with all of us afterwards. But let me now introduce my colleague, James Collins, from the Smithsonian Institution. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone. Okay, so my name is James Collins. I work on game-based learning at the Smithsonian Center for Learning and Digital Access. You can find my Twitter here, as well as my email. Feel free to just come up and contact me after the conference, during, etc. I also manage GAME, which is a group of museum educators interested in advancing the use of interactive engagement in museums. So if you're in other cultural institutions as well. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. So I'm here today to talk about socio-emotional learning, and typically I like to add some controversy to my presentations. So I'm going to go ahead and start way out in left field with this, the Common Core State Standards. I know, right? Okay, so why the heck am I talking about the Common Core State Standards in a presentation about socio-emotional learning? Well, the Common Core in its current incarnation covers math, language arts, scientific literacy, and other related topics. It looks at specific measurable skills, standardizes them, and then codifies them with alignments. We all know this. Okay, moving on. So in the key design considerations of the Common Core, the National Assessment of Educational Progress, NAEP, outlines a distribution of the types of texts that children should read. You can see the chart here. It's about a 50-50 split right in 4th grade between literary and informational text. By 12th grade, we cut literary down to 30%, and then we up informational to 70%. So what do these texts look like? This is a sample of informational text aligned to a 4th grade reading level, and I'll read you an excerpt here. You have to bear with me here. I'll use my reader voice, though. Low fences, some of which are thousands of years old, divide much of England's countryside. These fences, called hedgerows, were first built by the Anglo-Saxons, a group of warriors from Germany and Scandinavia, who arrived in England around 410 AD. As they gained control of sections of land, they protected their property with walls made from wooden stakes and spiny plants. So I'll stop there, but you get the idea. Okay, so this is a sample literary text, also aligned to 4th grade reading level. A mighty woman with a torch whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. So one of these text samples teaches facts, and the other teaches, in a way, what it means to be human. And no doubt, and I want to be clear about this, no doubt students need both in order to grow into well-rounded adults. And while educators in the Common Core are struggling to find the right balance, right, 50-50, 30-70, educational games have, by and large, already come to a decision on what that split should be. So I put up here one of our own, but skills, facts, and formulas, they're so easy to define and measure that that's what we naturally gravitate to. They're the mainstay of educational games right now. Now, in entertainment games, we see games that can make us feel. We can see games that encourage us as players to experience emotions, to empathize. So whether it's elegies for the dead, or whether we're looking at kind of abstract contemplations of identity. Now, in contrast to classroom-ready educational games, recent games for societal impact have made great strides in illuminating the struggles of marginalized people. They've also done a lot of work in challenging our cultural perspectives and in telling stories that make us human. But when we get to educational games, we so often fall back on this concept of a digital worksheet. We lean on that informational text component so heavily that we squeeze the storytelling right out of the game. We leave the narrative behind, and with it we leave our chance of helping players build empathy. Now, I'm not saying, and I want to be very clear about this, I'm not saying that these informational games are bad or that they should be replaced, but I am here to challenge you as educational game developers to think about what that other 50% is. If we're already achieving informational text, what are the literary games for education? Where are the stories that make us who we are? So it might not be surprising that I come here with this perspective. The Smithsonian's holdings include the game Flower alongside other masterpieces of American art. As museums, we implicitly understand that there is value in exposure to art. So it's a messy value, it's hard to define, it's hard to measure. But you are a better person for visiting an art museum. There's an intangible quality that elevates our existence from the mundane to the extraordinary. And if games are art, then you can be a better person for playing a game. So in this world of educational games, with our algebra, our multiple choice questions, and our scientific simulations, isn't there room to tell a story? Is there room to teach about love and loss, ambiguity, about emotions, feeling, and everything else that's messy and so surprising and wonderful about being human? So my challenge again is to start a dialogue here. Let's experiment. Our children should be reading Hemingway alongside of their science books, right? So they should also be playing games like Braid along with their math games. There should be a mixture of both. And it won't be easy to strike this balance, but we owe it to our children and to our profession to try. So thank you so much for coming. I want to say again, this is our contact information. Please do reach out to us.